There are thousands of videos on YouTube about how narcissists engage in something called love bombing. So I'm not going to talk about that. What I'm going to talk about is the codependents' role in the love bombing process. So codependents are traumatized into the fawning position, over listening, overindulging in the problems and feelings of other people, overemphasizing in their mirroring back to other people those people's positive traits, attributes, qualities, and characteristics. So when a narcissist comes along, this is someone who inherently requires external validation of their superiority complex, and a codependent reflects back to them all of those positive traits, attributes, qualities, and characteristics that the narcissist believes themselves to have. That feels really good for the narcissist. That is the external validation that they require in order to maintain their ego, their false self. So when the codependent does this, the narcissist responds by essentially rewarding the codependent by mirroring back to the codependent that the codependent's inferiority complex isn't true. Of course, none of this happens consciously, but that feels like positive external validation from the narcissist to the codependent. That's why love bombing feels so good, not just for the codependent, but also for the narcissist. So yes, narcissists engage in love bombing, which is essentially the narcissist unconsciously studies their target for their target's insecurities, or in other words, the qualities, traits, characteristics, or attributes that the codependent thinks they have, but doesn't feel safe or secure owning about themselves. These are the codependent's insecurities, and this is what makes them vulnerable to narcissistic abuse, is that they require external validation of their identity in order to feel good about themselves. So the narcissist unconsciously studies the insecurities of their target and reflects back to the codependent precisely the qualities that that codependent probably does have, but that they don't feel secure owning that they have. They need external validation. So the codependent gets their external validation, which feels very, very good. All of a sudden, they feel like they are whole in the presence of this person who is actually a narcissist. But the same goes the other way around. The narcissist's insecurities that are totally unconscious generate their superiority complex. So they feel so overwhelmingly inferior that the pain of that is too great. So they replace that self with a false self that is superior. But because it's false, it requires maintenance or external validation or narcissistic supply. A codependent comes along in the fawning position, and whose way of controlling people into loving them is by reflecting back to those people who they think they are, which is how they were conditioned in their childhood by their narcissistic parent. And so they reinforce the superiority complex of the narcissist. Love bombing goes both ways. Now, we're actually touching on the reason why this channel is called Flip the Mirror. Narcissists go through life with a mirror held up to the faces of everyone that they come into contact with. And when they find a fawning codependent who is insecure about their positive attributes, traits, and qualities, they project through their mirror to the codependent who that codependent wants to believe that they are, and probably is, but doesn't feel secure owning that they are. But as the relationship progresses into the devaluation phase of the narcissistically abusive relationship, what comes through that mirror is all of the negative traits, attributes, and qualities that the narcissist has disowned about them unconsciously. So they project those negative qualities via scapegoating through that mirror onto their codependent, onto their victim. This is called devaluation. When a narcissist is devaluing you, all of the things that they're saying are likely to be traits, characteristics, qualities, and attributes of theirs. You won't get accountability from them that these are their qualities. Don't bother trying, but this is the psychology of how it works. So they have a mirror held up to your face showing you how awful you are. But you, the codependent, also have a mirror held up to their face like this. And through that mirror, instead of projecting all of your negative qualities onto them like they do onto you, it's the opposite. You believe yourself, through your inferiority complex, to be fundamentally flawed or bad, or otherwise you are shame-based. You feel as though it is immoral or unsafe, or otherwise you feel insecure, owning your positive qualities. And so through this mirror, you put on the narcissist all of those positive qualities. It's like inverse scapegoating. For my own example, I've always thought that I was intelligent. I've always been told, my whole life I've been told that I'm relatively good looking. I've always known that I'm talented, musically, creative. I'm a very skilled songwriter. I'm a very skilled musician. I'm very good with money. I have multiple skill sets. I have a vast array of knowledge in a variety of subjects. I've always thought that I have quite a lot going for me as a person. But boy, oh boy, did I feel safe or secure really owning that? I was terrified that if I stood up and proudly exclaimed to the world that I was all of those positive things, that would mean I'm arrogant or up myself or a wanker or, worst case scenario, a narcissist. That if I actually stepped into my power, then I would be abusive and controlling and manipulative and self-absorbed, and that I'd be preying on other people's weaknesses. These are all superego injunctions. If you haven't seen my video on what happens when you start practicing recovery, go and have a look at it. It's appearing right now. And I'm going to do way more videos on the inner critic and the superego because it is so important to understand. So here you are in a relationship. Imagine that I'm the narcissist and I'm holding a mirror up to your face. And I'm showing you through that mirror all of the things that you are, all of the negative things, how you're useless, how you're a dumbass, how you're lazy, how you're arrogant, how you don't have any empathy, how you're controlling, how you're a prick. These are all the things that I've been called by my narcissistic abusers. So imagine I'm the narcissist and I'm holding a mirror up to your face, gaslighting you and showing you that you are all of these things. And because you lack self-trust, you believe me. But you are also holding a mirror up to my face, and in this situation, you're the codependent, and you're showing me that I am all of the things that you're too scared to actually own about who you are. So in my case, it was you're intelligent, you're good looking, you're great with money, you have multiple skill sets, you're strong, you're creative, etc. The way to recovery is to turn it around. Flip the mirror. This is why I called this channel Flip the Mirror, is because this is the essential underlying process of how you can break out of the cycle of narcissistic abuse by reclaiming who you are. That's how you step into thriving. That's how you step into purpose. That's how you become connected to God. In my next video, I'm going to discuss with you what you can expect from listening to me and following my guidance. And I'm going to use Pia Melody's book, Facing Codependents, to illustrate what you can expect from recovery.